Good evening, I'm Prasad Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. What a week it's been. Calling it a roller coaster would be an understatement, but now we have a new Prime Minister. No, not Anwar Ibrahim or Dr Mahathir Mohamad again, but Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin. So how do we get here? Perhaps the former Prime Minister has something to say. With Pakatan Harapan out of Putrajaya, former Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad had a few words to share with allied MPs at his Kuala Lumpur office yesterday, following the swearing-in of their former ally Muhyiddin Yassin as the new Prime Minister. Based on a video recording of his address, Mahathir apologised for resigning as Prime Minister on February 24th, which he called a mistake.
Because I decided to resign. I decided to resign because I have lost support. So I had to resign. I had no choice. But it has to be, I thought that if I resign, it goes back to the Agong and we convince him when I was told that I have the support. So that is the situation. So I would like to tell you once again, I'm very sorry.
Mahathir had resigned after believing that he had lost the majority support because Bersatu MPs had pulled out of Pakatan Harapan that day. Mahathir said he could have regained support eventually, but that was not to be. Muhyiddin led the bulk of Bersatu MPs away from Mahathir to work with MPs from UMNO, PAS and Gabungan Parti Sarawak and several smaller parties. The exact number of MPs loyal to Muhyiddin and Mahathir is uncertain due to shifting loyalties. Muhyiddin's support will only be tested when Parliament reconvenes. Yesterday was far from being a laid-back Sunday. In fact, political drama reached an all-time high. We saw the swearing-in of a new Prime Minister and violence involving PKR members. Outside the PKR headquarters in Putrajaya on Sunday, punches, plastic bottles and traffic cones had one thing in common. They were aimed at Party Vice President Thian Chua. This is after PKR members converged at the PKR headquarters and held abuse at leaders who were deemed to have supported Azmin Ali prior to his defection to Bersatu. Azmin had led a group of PKR defectors and in cooperation with Bersatu, BN PAS and GPS brought down the Pakatan Harapan government to form a new Perikatan Nasional government. However, according to PKR President Anwar Ibrahim, some of Azmin Ali's supporters within PKR were not aware of Azmin's endgame and have expressed remorse for supporting him.
Kalau lihat dia orang ni tak keluar daripada parti ikut macam Dr. Mahathir.
Tak, itu saya terima baik kerana mereka ini masih taat kepada parti dan kadang-kadang segala pakatan sulit jahat mereka ini tidak diketahui. Jadi penyokong jadi mangsa. Jadi dalam mesyuarat tadi mereka kata kami macam mana kami sokong. Tapi kami tak pernah dengar ada pakatan dengan UMNO ke PAS ke atau nak gebuk kawasan jawatan ke nak khianat kepada parti. Dia tidak tahu. Jadi tak boleh salahkan penyokong.
Thian Chua, who had been a key figure in the Reformasi movement, downplayed the incident, stating that it was a small matter and stressed that he is still loyal to PKR. Meanwhile, former PKR Deputy President Azmin Ali condemned the attack, claiming that the party had been infiltrated by gangsters. Azmin pointed out that Thian Chua is a respected social activist and a founding leader of PKR and had contributed to the PKR cause since it was created. He added that the attack was a symptom of a party which was set up to defend the people, but was hijacked by people wearing the Reformation mask and instead deified a dictator as their struggle. The country's political drama may see another twist, one involving COVID-19. All we know now is that the Health Ministry is on it and some have taken precautionary steps. A former minister and a deputy minister were in close contact with a confirmed COVID-19 patient, and as a precautionary measure, Subang MP Wong Chen announced that he was imposing a self-quarantine on Monday morning. He acknowledged that both the former minister and deputy minister were in several political meetings during a week-long political crisis that ensued after the Pakatan Harapan government collapsed last Monday. Wong said given the circumstances, the responsible thing for him to do would be to self-quarantine today and tomorrow until the test results for the former minister and former deputy minister are out. Yesterday, Malaysia Kini reported that the duo, one from Perikatan Nasional and the other from Harapan, had come in close contact with a patient in the 26th case of the COVID-19 in the country. Patient 26 is a senior member of the Khazanah leadership and the head of a government-linked company. He had attended a government function at a hotel in Kuala Lumpur on February 27th, together with the former minister and deputy minister, who are also MPs. According to the Health Ministry, patient 26 had travelled to Shanghai in the middle of January. With Harapan out as the federal government, there has been talk that many familiar faces may be off the hook. But according to Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, there's no such deal. UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi was in a fantastic mood after Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin was sworn in as the country's 8th Prime Minister at Istana Negara on Sunday.
Episod dan babak awan hitam telah berlalu, langit kembali cerah.
This has brought claims that UMNO had struck a deal for all criminal charges against its leaders to be dropped in exchange for bolstering the new government led by Muhyiddin. In a text message to Malaysia Kini, Zahid denied this. He said, quote, "No, all that is not true." Asked to clarify if this means all corruption cases against UMNO leaders will continue until its conclusion, Zahid maintained his case was fabricated. Meanwhile, a court trial involving Zahid was postponed earlier today to give him a chance to speak with Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin on the formation of a new cabinet. The application was made by the defence team in the corruption case involving Zahid at the Kuala Lumpur High Court. According to his lawyer, Hisham Thepothiak, the presence of his client was necessary for a discussion with the Prime Minister. Zahid had pleaded not guilty to a total of 47 charges, 12 of which are CBT, 8 for bribery and 27 for money laundering, involving tens of millions of ringgit belonging to Yayasan Akal Budi. However, in an apparent twist this afternoon, the Prime Minister's office released a statement saying while Muhyiddin had met with the Chief Secretary to the government and the heads of government departments and agencies, no meeting with political leaders would be held today. You can voice your views, but do it in accordance with the law. That is the message from our nation's top cop. Inspector General of Police Abdul Hamid Badr said the police will respect the rights to expression and assembly as long as it's within the law. At a press conference this morning, Hamid said protest organisers only need to notify the police and stay out of non-designated protest zones.
So simple. Yeah, saya minta the understanding of all, yeah, to observe the law. Simple. You can express, go ahead. Freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of macam-macam lah yang termaktub dalam peruntukan dalam perlembagaan. Masing-masing main peran. Polis pun kita tak mau lagi, ya, nak menyekat, nak menutup mulut ataupun nak sabotaj diorang, tidak. Tapi bayangkan kepentingannya kepada orang ramai. Kalau jalan tu jadi jam, menyusahkan orang. Ya.
Several small protests have been held in Kuala Lumpur during the 8-day political crisis last week. Protesters are calling for fresh elections on grounds that Muhyiddin Yassin was forming a government with parties that lost during the election. Several activists have been probed for either calling for the rally or participating in it. One of those demonstrations were held to protest Muhyiddin Yassin's appointment as Prime Minister. Dubbed the Save Malaysia Assembly, hundreds gathered at Sogo before marching to Dataran Merdeka. Despite being warned by the police, more than 100 protesters showed up in front of the Sogo shopping centre in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday to protest the new government led by Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin. They chanted phrases such as "Reject traitors," "Reject racism," and "Hidup Rakyat." Some also carried placards which read, quote, #NotMyPM, we fight and uphold democracy. Notable figures at the protest included former Bersih chairperson Ambika Srinivasan and Amanah Youth Deputy Chief Faiz Fadzil. Several police personnel were present, but they did not stop the protest. After about 2 hours, the Save Malaysia Assembly came to a peaceful end, with the organizer pledging more protests until things are done right. Coming up next, we take a look at the global situation on the coronavirus outbreak. Thousands of refugees are at the Turkish-Greek border, scrambling to enter Europe. All that and more after this. This next story is brought to you by Blue Air. Over 3,000 people have been killed by the coronavirus. This is the latest situation around the globe. China's central Hubei province, the epicenter of the country's coronavirus outbreak, reported less than 200 cases of new infections for the first time since January. The National Health Commission said Hubei had 196 new confirmed cases on Sunday, down from 570 cases a day earlier, and the lowest since January 24. 40 new deaths were also reported in Hubei, bringing the global death toll to over 3,000. In Europe, the worst outbreak remains in Italy, with the death toll rising to 34 on Monday. Iran had the highest number of deaths from the coronavirus outside China, with the death toll from the coronavirus at 54. Iran's health ministry spokesperson told State TV that the number of people infected had reached 978. Qatar also reported its first case on Saturday from a man who had recently returned from Iran. In the United States, health officials in Washington state said on Sunday a second person infected with the coronavirus had died there, while New York's governor said the state confirmed its first case of the illness. Over 70 cases have been reported in the United States. Stock markets plunged last week from the pandemic fears, with an index global stock setting its largest weekly fall since the 2008 financial crisis, and more than 5 trillion wiped off the value of stocks worldwide. The rapid spread has also prompted the World Health Organization to raise the highest level of alarm on Friday.
We have now increased our assessment of the risk of spread and the risk of impact of COVID-19 to very high at global level.
Greek police fired tear gas to repel hundreds of migrants who tried to force their way across the border from Turkey on Sunday. Clashes broke out between police and migrants trying to cross into the Turkish-Greek border after the Turkish government relaxed curb on their movements. Turkey said on Thursday it would stop keeping hundreds and thousands of asylum seekers in its territory from reaching Europe after an airstrike on Idlib in neighboring Syria killed 33 Turkish soldiers. The announcement led to a rush of migrants to the border it shares with EU member Greece. The International Organization of Migration put the number of people along the Turkish border at 13,000, and some are already taking perilous journeys to Greece. The Turkish Coast Guard reportedly rescued some 50 migrants on Sunday after an overcrowded dinghy sank off the coast of Turkey. Greece, which was the gateway to Europe for hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers in 2015 and 2016, currently hosts more than 40,000 migrants living in severely overcrowded camps and filthy conditions. They have accused Turkey of actively guiding migrants and have placed its borders on maximum security. And here are more headlines from today. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.